I am live, and my hair is a little messed. I was wearing a hat today. Anyway, that's not why you showed up. We are going to talk a little bit about. I'm in a hotel tonight. Let me get this. It's on my phone. Hopefully, the quality isn't too horrendous. Oh, where is chat? There is chat. Top chat, live chat. Show chat. Oh. There we go. Hey, DeFingers. How you doing, buddy? Oh, people jumped on really quick. Yeah, I'm just I'm at a hotel tonight, and I figured I'd go live because got nothing else to do except watch my iPad or TV, I guess. But who actually watches TV these days? Hey, Dana. Hey, John, Asher, Via. I will talk tonight about, well, I mean, if you have any questions, for sure. Is the sound okay? That's the first question. Also, I will talk tonight about, let me wipe this off a little bit, see if that helps. Not really. Ooh, that's bad. Yeah, that's only, no, that's better. Okay, good. Definitely better. Remember always to clean your camera before you shoot. Slot cars for life. I do want to talk tonight about, I get a lot of questions about controllers, specifically, I think, hey, Steve, thanks for showing up. I haven't seen you in a while here. Controllers, especially for Carrera Digital. I know most of the folks here are, maybe they're already hooked up with controllers. But if you're a Carrera Digital person, and I will do a video about this, I think, kind of my top. I'll do this early this week, I think, when I'm back home. We'll do a video kind of about my top suggestions for kind of what to get if you're in the market for a set, or pretty much like every scale of set, and specifically like accessories and stuff for Carrera Digital. Yes. Hey, John. There is news on Polycar Digital. I don't know. There is progress. Let's just say that. I don't have anything specific that I can say. I'm not really sure that I'm allowed to say. I did talk with Mauricio about this. Hey, Adam. Cheers. Yes, I'm feeling pretty good tonight. Just had dinner at a really good Vietnamese restaurant here in New Jersey, and had a nice drive on the way down. Well, nice drive is torrential rain, and now it's torrential rain and crazy high wind here in New Jersey. Anyway, so Polycar Digital, I have heard that there is progress on that project. Hair sticking up, and that let's just say you're going to see something soon, official from Polycar, and I'll let them say that. That's all I'll say, because I don't know. I don't really know much, but there is progress. So take heart, people. Take heart. So I did want to mention, because I did get this question the other day about controllers for Carrera Digital. Obviously, the Ramjet is the Ramjet by Digital Racing Solutions is the. I mean, it's a controller that I've done a video on. Still, I know there are other controllers that are available. I personally like to support the Digital Racing Solutions people. They are friends, and more importantly, they make a damn good controller. And I think that it's an American-made controller. If things like that mean something to you, I think they should if you're American. And certainly they're a small company that we should be supporting, even if you're not American. Supporting a small manufacturer. There's only a couple guys, I think, maybe two, that work for them, or they work together, and I think that's probably the single best upgrade you can do. Yeah, there you go. Bought a Ramjet. That's fantastic. Love it. Buy another. Buy another. They're great. They really, it's the single best upgrade you can do to a basic set, honestly. Aside from cleaning tires regularly, that's probably the most important thing you can and should do. I don't really like suggesting to people that they spend money right after they've already bought a set, because you want to enjoy what you have. And I think there you go, Pistol Pete. You want to have fun learning about how to slot car race and practicing driving and practicing, with Carrera Digital, refueling and speed control and just control in general. The best way to enjoy a set is, as far as I'm concerned, kind of like, yeah, no, I know, Simon. I'm sure they're great. I've never used one. I like supporting the Digital Racing Solutions folks, just because, not because I think any other controller is bad, or I just, anyway. Are independent front ends a good idea for larger scales? I mean, I don't think they hurt. What is honestly best are nice concentric wheels and tires. And of course, tires that are appropriate for the surface, a clean track. But round, concentric wheels and tires are honestly way more important than other things. Hello, Shotgun Dave. Cheers. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Just a little impromptu stream here. I'm at a hotel in New Jersey. I have a meeting tomorrow for a consulting thing that I might be doing. And anyway, just figured I'd go live because it's either that or just watch TV here in a hotel room, and nobody wants to do that. Anyway, and oddly, this is the last hotel, or this is the, and I think, let me back up again. I think in 2015, maybe, this was the place where we did the last sales meeting for Carrera. When I worked there, my friend Brian, the sales rep for Canada, for Eastern Canada, was there. He passed away during the pandemic, unfortunately, after a car accident. And the night before I did the sales meeting here, there was a lot of, there's a big kind of auditorium here at this hotel. It's a Holiday Inn in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And there's like an auditorium. I think I said that. And we had, I think, all like 50 or 60 reps for Carrera here. And I did the presentations. And I had unfortunately found out when I woke up the morning of the sales meeting that I had to basically do a day's worth of presentations for, that my grandmother had died, which was kind of a kick in the ass, obviously, because I was pretty close to my grandmother. I loved her. Anyway, yeah, but it's funny just in general being back in this hotel, because this is a couple miles away from where the Carrera offices were. They're no longer here. But anyway, yeah, so it had been this hotel. Hey, Don. Cheers. I think you said, Don, you got your the McLaren that you had ordered? Yeah, anyway, it's just kind of funny being back here so many years later. um, yeah, so digital racing solutions, probably the top thing I'd suggest. Ramjet, just availability thing. Yeah, I'm sure, Simon. I'm sure. It's. I think they both make some excellent stuff. Ah, hey, Philip. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a nice hotel. I almost always stay at Holiday Inns when I travel, like anyone cares. But yes. So anyway, um, I'll probably also include in the probably end up doing most of the video tonight if I just keep rambling. If you're getting a digital set from Carrera, I usually suggest, if you're really serious kind of about racing and about learning how to make your car faster and learning what did make your car faster after you do some tuning, that having the lap counter that adds all of the race controls into it is a really excellent value for what it adds to the system, because it really gives you a tremendous amount of real good information. It might not be like the coolest display, I guess I'd say, but as far as pure functionality, uh, oh, BMW, okay. As far as pure functionality, I definitely think that that the lap counter, the little box that plugs into the control unit, is definitely the thing that everybody needs if you're doing Carrera Digital. If you're not super into doing racing, like if you just want to have fun, which is fine too. Hey, Dusty, cheers. I definitely suggest the start light, the gantry that goes over the track. Definitely adds a cool piece of kind of scenic functionality, because it gives you the countdown for the lights to start the race, and it's a nice thing because you can kind of focus on the racetrack rather than looking at the kind of arch on the control unit. So I definitely think that's probably my second suggestion. My third's probably the position tower, because the position tower is a really nice display and you can see it from a good distance. It really adds quite a bit of functionality. It adds a lot of, well, I mean, it does add a little bit of fun. Yes, it adds functionality. I definitely think that it adds a nice visual thing to the track as well, because Carrera really went to a lot of trouble, frankly, to integrate. That's all on your list. Cool. They went to a lot of trouble to kind of integrate all of the systems and stuff on all of the accessories, rather, with the control unit, and it really adds a lot of nice functionality as well as display, which I really do think that it's unfortunate that Scalextric really hasn't ever tried to add any displays, really. I think they really, and I think they probably add a monitor to your track to show what? To show like the display, like the lap counter or something like that. The plug on the back of the lap counter is not a pass through. It's not a I forget it. I think it's like an 8-pin connector. That is for. I was told this. I've never tried to hook it up to a monitor. I believe it's an 8-pin connector. It's a fairly standard kind of a connector, but as far as I know, it's only for service. It's not for a pass through for display. I do know people that have used the lap counter software, which, Jesus, I'm not. I mean, there's the newer version of the software, which can be displayed through the App Connect. That's what I would use to display it. I believe there's a way you can cast from a device. Hey, Jimmy, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. 4x11 space. Hello, Curtis. Um, well, I mean, most 4 feet is about as narrow as you can go with the Carrera digital system, because it's about the width of the track from the edge of the control unit, the front edge of the control unit, where it's got the kind of candy stripe on it, to the back edge of the tightest turn. I think is 38 inches, 36 inches, something like that. And you can't go any tighter. That's the tightest radii that Carrera makes. So about 4 feet in width is about as narrow as you can go. 11 feet's a decent size, but I would basically look to go vertical and have maybe kind of a corkscrew at one end and maybe take the track up. It's going to be tough with only 4 feet wide. I'm not going to lie. You're going to struggle to find something that'll fit well. That's not just kind of an oval. I mean, if an oval is what you want, that's fine. But I usually would just try to throw track on the table and frankly see what fits. But yeah, about 4 feet. Well, no, 4 feet. You're gonna that's 3 feet. I'm thinking. I mean, you're gonna be able to get a little bit more in there than just an oval. Yeah, but you probably get a lot more out of it if you go to who's the masked man? Yeah, right. If you go up, you'll get a little more track out of it. Yeah, John Albright. I'm in a hotel. I got a meeting tomorrow. I'm in New Jersey, and for a consulting thing that someone called me about the other day, and sounds pretty interesting. I'm not really going to talk about it yet because I'm not sure, frankly, if it's going to work out, or I'm not sure. Well, whatever. I'm not sure if it's going to work out. Once I figure out, I have a meeting tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning, and if it works out, you all will know for sure. Don't worry. But yeah, so I'm just hanging out, and I figured rather than just sit here in the hotel room and watch TV, drink cups of water from the lovely taps we have at the at the Holiday Inn in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Exactly, John. Exactly. Yeah, water doesn't taste wonderful here, but whatever. Um, what do we have in the news that was interesting? Well, I mean, there's definitely been a lot of Avant news, and oh yes, I probably will check out while I'm here in the hotel tonight. That race in where was it, Dubai or something like that, was today, and the Carrera 298 Ferrari was raced, and Avant will be doing that car next year, which is interesting. I kind of doubt they'll be doing the Carrera livery on the thing, but yeah, it's pretty awesome to see Carrera livery on a real racing car. I know they've done this off and on, frankly, over the years, but it's cool to see, you know, it's cool to see the Carrera colors on a car, and the 298 sure does look really good. It looks absolutely incredible. I love that car. It's my favorite. Even more so, though, I like the 488 and the 458, but definitely the 298 is definitely one of my favorites, pretty much of all time. The F40 is a favorite of mine, and I like the 575 a lot. I really like the what was that endurance race? Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think it was, I forget exactly where it was. Was it in like Dubai or somewhere like that? Maybe. I'm honestly not sure. Um, but it was an endurance race, and it was a Carrera livery on the car. And hey, Marty, yeah, um, yeah. So it looked really good, and I follow the guy. I'm not sure if it's the guy that owns Carrera Ravel or manages it, um, or he might manage the team actually, because I follow him on. Sorry, I'm getting off track. I follow him on LinkedIn, and he's been posting some photos of the car from time to time on LinkedIn, and it's really cool to see the car. It looks absolutely incredible. Um, it would be cool, obviously, to see more slot companies uh, do more sponsorship. It's expensive to sponsor a real team. We had been approached when I worked for Carrera here in the U.S. We had been approached a lot, probably. I mean, at least 6 or 8 times a year, we get approached by people of all ages trying to get sponsorship. Um, and we, there's nothing meaningful that you can really do unless you throw, tens of thousands of dollars at somebody. Um, and just really never made any sense. The people that you could sponsor where it would be a little more meaningful, are fairly small time go kart racers or some of the, smaller uh, GT racing, and where, what's the likelihood of that really generating much sales is it's pretty low. Honestly, you look for somewhere like if you spend let's say $10,000, you look for 100,000 in return, or 90,000 in return. That's what I was given as kind of a rule of thumb, and it really just made no sense for us to even bother to try to discuss that with pretty much anybody. Hey, Swift Slots, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I saw that Swift Slots, you mentioned about your daughter, I think, playing Animal Crossing. My wife was pretty excited about the Animal Crossing slot car set. So I just kind of did it. I just did the video just kind of as a joke. She was so thrilled to see her little character run up the stairs on my channel, and she bought it. Bought the slot car track Thursday. Boy, it is dumping rain here. Holy cow! Wow, I can hear it through the window. Um, uh, she bought the track Friday night, and we figured out how to download the video, and we got the video. We got the video up, and then I didn't make it go live until yesterday. So only 5 minutes. Yeah, that's really cool. Um, so I posted the video when I posted it yesterday. I like to not do too much content. One thing a day is the most. I won't. I mean, it kills the algorithm if you upload. I think anyway. If you upload too many things, it kind of confuses YouTube about what to show people. And obviously, I want the news to kind of be the news videos that is to be like the main thing people watch, because that's most of the reason I'm doing this. So, but then I saw that little the slot car track. She has a train track too, a train set too in the game, and that's really cool too. And what I was impressed with in the Animal Crossing thing was the sound is really good. Like they actually really did a good recording of slot cars going around, and the train track sounds really good too, of the train going around. And I was impressed that they did that. Quite frankly, because you never know when they just do a seasonal kind of thing, which this is like a little seasonal decoration, I guess, for people's villages. I guess that's what they are. Anyway, thought it was kind of cool. Yeah, it did sound really good. I mean, it's nice that they got it right for people that know what that sounds like. Um, Somebody did their job exactly. Well, you can't really take that for granted these days, as a lot of old folks like to say. You had one job, even though you probably had more than one. But yeah, well. So Avant is doing, to get back to Avant and the Ferrari, the 298. They are doing the 298. Obviously, that's not going to be licensed because Carrera is the only one that has the license for Ferrari still. And I would expect, Carrera, wait, do they do the 298? Jesus, that was the car that was the 488 that they sent me, wasn't it? Oh, my phone just went on to night or don't bother me mode, which hopefully that won't affect the stream at all. um, well, it'll be interesting to see what if those liveries get done. And it looks like maybe more people are going to kind of get away from worrying about licenses, maybe with the Ferrari thing. It's still a big point of contention about whether, I mean, people can still do licensing, and, it's still a point of contention about whether, whether Ferrari will kind of enforce that sort of thing. Like to see more bigger scales without racing liveries, like and American cars. The problem is, excuse me, doing 1/24 scale American cars as slot cars. I mean, there's only a couple companies that do 1/24 scale, and Carrera's kind of the big one doing them in kind of ready to run. I know BRM do, but they're a very niche kind of company. I mean, they do a few American cars, the Trans Am stuff, and they're doing a GT40. It's a hard market to make a lot of money in because there's not really a lot of sales for 1/24 scale. I am excited too for the Hendrick cars releases, Pistol Pete. I'm happy that somebody. I'm happy that Carrera. I'm happy that they're being done at all. I'm happy that Carrera is doing them because the Carrera cars run really well right out of the box. Carrera does a really good job with marketing these days. You got to give them credit for. I mean, they're out there on lots of online things, on lots of TV. Frank Thiessen does a lot of Zoom calls with people about upcoming toys and things like that, and he's done a lot of kind of online stuff. He's a big supporter of the channel here. Obviously, he's been very friendly, very accommodating. Frankly, much more than he needs to be because, hey, Moondoggy, I mean, he doesn't need to. Hey, first time slot car daddy. Hey, right on. Very cool. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, Carrera don't need to support me. What do they get out of it? I don't know. It's. I'm very happy that they do. Don't get me wrong, but it just, it's. They have a pretty big audience for across all of their social media. I mean, they have a lot of people on their Facebook account, and they spend a lot of money on social media posts and stuff. You can tell it's a definite priority with them, which is cool. It's great. Yeah, so the Hendrick stuff, hopefully, I mean, we're getting to the end of the year here, and Oh boy, they usually do actually start showing. Hmm. I wonder if if they will be able to show early stuff. That would be interesting. I didn't even think about that because sometime I think in December is when they kind of normally show the Carrera Club, the stuff for the year. I'm not a member of the Carrera Club, obviously. I mean, you have to be in Germany to be a member of the Carrera Club still. But they do show news for the year, at least a list, fairly soon to the folks at the Carrera Club. So it's definitely possible. Um, you think they'll be at the Speed Weeks in Daytona? I don't know. Interesting thought. Um, if you've heard something, please let me know. I will make a point of asking Carrera about that. That would be really cool. Um, Boy, it sure would be fun to go down. I I don't know that I could, but it would be fun to go down. Be awesome to go down and cover that. Um, I do have a couple days of vacation time left that roll over to next year. I don't know. It would be interesting, huh? It's definitely going to be cool to see them redoing the cars. And I made a point to Frank directly when we were in New York together about how we need parts. We need tires and we need axle sets. And I mean, that's really what we need. They do have motors. Oh, they just released their liveries for 2020, 2024, you mean, I think, probably. But yeah, cool. If they that's awesome. Hey, DeFingers, welcome back. Cheers. um, yeah, so if they just did release that, that's fantastic for next year. That's what Carrera were waiting for, and I'm sure they're getting on it, and they will do. They'll do cars as soon as possible. I don't know when those are scheduled for release. I would assume that, like I said, as soon as they can get those made, they're going to have them made because they want to, they really want to. It would be really cool, Pistol Pete. Yeah, I mean, if I go, which there's a very low chance of me going, but I would definitely make a everyone will know if I'm going to be going down there. Like I said, I don't really, can't really travel like that anymore. I used to, but anyway, yeah, so they're not doing, yes, 2024. Yeah, no, I figured Pistol Pete, no worries. They're not, I don't, well, I don't know what they're going to be doing next year, okay? Nobody does, except for the actual NASCARs. So I don't know if they're going to be doing more liveries on the older, like the Torino, and that sort of thing. Slot Car Daddy. Yeah, Travis and I don't collaborate anymore for a variety of reasons. I don't know if I'm going to be going to Gaydon. I kind of doubt it. Unless unless LEB sponsor me again to go. Probably I wouldn't be going. It's not really, it's expensive, obviously, to go, and it's not really, the race is sold out. Really interesting. Wow, cool. Um, uh, if I were to go to NASCAR to Speed Week, I would probably try to get credential through NASCAR. I know the folks I mean, I think I still know the woman that's kind of in charge of most of the product marketing. I'd been, I talked to those folks a lot. Regardless, Carrera would have passes they would be able to get um, because they're a licensee, I believe. Yes, they would, because we got them when I worked for SCX. So uh, there's always, that's part of the NASCAR license. When you get a license with them, is that you get credentials and certainly tickets. I should say tickets, not credentials. That you would get tickets to pretty much any race. That's no problem, Soccer Daddy. It's no drama. Just letting you know. No big deal. Um, yeah. So I mean, I would probably ask Carrera if they could get me a ticket, or just a ticket to get in to see what they're doing. I wouldn't be down there for, I mean, hypothetically, I'm not going anyway, but I wouldn't be down there for more than a day or two anyway. But regardless, it would be really good to see just kind of the launch of, what they're going to be doing. It would be awesome to see that. Let me just move this a little bit so it's a little. Hey, that's what you need to see, is a little more of me. Not really. Just kind of angling my phone here. I know it's not ideal. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. So stock cars in general, unless you have, because there's been a couple questions about that. I see again. Unless you have the NASCAR license, you can't do any of the older cars. They don't really allow. You have to have the license to do older stuff. Any shows happening on the West Coast? No, none that I know of. No slot car stuff that I know of. I'm not getting any. I got a new show notification that I'm going to put in next week's slot car news for a show that's, I think, probably on the East Coast. Chase Elliott. Yeah, Chase Elliott's been the most popular driver for years since Dale Earnhardt Jr. hadn't been. Jr. had been the far and away the most popular driver for a decade. And pretty much all the sales of everything was a factor lower. So, like, Dale Jr. was probably like 50% of the market, and everybody, like the next most popular driver, probably Harvick or someone like that, maybe Smoke, was like less than half of his sales for merch. That's what we found out from NASCAR. You don't really hear these things unless you're kind of, trying to get the NASCAR license. You have my Monte Carlo. Oh boy, no, that's my Thunderbird. My Thunderbird. Blah, blah, blah. Quakertown show that they'll be doing on. Yeah. The Quakertown. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah. Yeah, I just got that information today. I think today, actually. Yeah, I know. Everyone wants shows where they live, and I mean, frankly, there's none where I live either, in kind of middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. Hey, Mike. Cheers. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Let me stop for a second, guys. I'm gonna get some more water. My throat's getting a little dry. Look at enjoy the beautiful wall for a second. Ah, yes. Water. It's a great wall. That's why I stayed at this hotel. I knew it had awesome walls. Whatever. Um, yeah, so I know a lot of people like they wish that there were more older stock cars, like back when they looked like real cars, like the Revell monogram stuff that they did years ago with the cars from what were they, like the early '60s. Um, uh, yeah, like I forget exactly what years. I have I think the Andretti car. Not really sure. I haven't looked at it in a long time. It's been rebuilt. Actually, runs pretty good. Hey, Brandon. Cheers. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. But those cars were. I don't. I don't know about the licensing on those. But if you want to do NASCAR, they really don't have a lot of interest in giving you the license if all you want to do is old stuff. We had talked to them about doing, older stuff, and they really don't care about supporting someone who a company, I guess they would grant you the license. Hey, Chief, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. But you really, NASCAR is interested in basically one thing, and that's promoting the newest car that's being run on the track. And I mean, it makes sense, but what are you going to say? It's a benefit to a company to work with Carrera or to work with NASCAR and to do the license. And rather than do stuff out of license, and they would come after you if you did unlicensed stuff. So, hey, Chris, thanks for showing up. 53 people. Cool. Thanks, guys. Give the stream a thumbs up. I appreciate it. I am in a hotel, actually, in New Brunswick. No, New Windsor. New Windsor. I thought it was in New Brunswick. I'm not. New Windsor, New Jersey. Or no, Windsor, New Jersey? Whatever. It's near where I worked at Carrera. No, because they can't do the bodies because the bodies are part of the license. You can't just do bodies, or just plain white kits. I know I've gone over this a lot, and I get a lot of heat for it, but white kits don't really sell very well, in my experience. I have to do all these qualifications before people get upset with me. Yes, Joyzy, exactly. I'm near Freehold. That's where my meeting is tomorrow. So you can't, the NASCAR, if it's a stock car, NASCAR will try to enforce yes, I know, but people do diecast with NASCAR. And what you probably don't know is that, Lionel is owned by NASCAR. So, and that's most of the cars that get done are made by Lionel. It's and they own Lionel, and there's very few vintage diecast cars that get made. I talked to a really big dealer in near, oh God, what is that track in Tennessee? The little tiny oval. Oh, Jesus, my NASCAR cred just went right out the effing window. I know. Brain fog. Bruton Smith owns it. Somebody. Anyway, I talked to a diecast dealer for several hours. Bristol, thank God, yes. Steve, okay. I've only been there like 3 times. Sorry, guys. So I stopped at a NASCAR diecast shop near Bristol on my way down to Texas one year. I was driving, yeah, Steve, I know. I'm getting old. And I talked with this guy for probably about 2 hours, and just basically doing research and just kind of educating myself on the diecast scene, because that's a lot of obviously what gets sold for NASCAR is diecast stuff. And what he had on display is mostly modern or current things, because that's what NASCAR wants to promote. So that's most of what that gets done. That's not to say that there aren't current companies that make the Torino. There are. Diecast has been huge for decades now, especially for NASCAR. And this was years ago when I visited him, and it was Dale Jr. was still driving, and I think that paid $5 a piece. Yeah, exactly. And this is where I got the market, and I talked to NASCAR about this as well, and we talked to the team about it. Is the only diecast producer right now Action? Let me see if I can bring that back up. No, I can't. Sorry. Anyway, shit. Hold on. Let me see if I can top chat. Live chat. All visible. There we go. Lionel is the only NASCAR diecast producer right now. Like I said, because they own, NASCAR owns Lionel. They own them, that's unfortunate to hear that they are the only one. That really sucks. Boy, I probably shouldn't say stuff like that, but it's unfortunate that they're the only diecast company. Anyway, so there was a few years ago a company that made vintage cars, the Torino and Superbird. I think the Superbird, maybe just the I don't know, maybe just the Torinos. In any case, and I mean, I've talked with the NASCAR licensing people directly, and they've told me they have no interest in seeing vintage cars. They're not racing them. Why would they promote them? And getting the licenses for vintage cars is difficult because the teams don't want to support, like Hendrick or the teams that used to have certain sponsors. Like Tide might not necessarily want to have their logo on an old car, or Mountain Dew, those are Skoal or things like that. They might only want to do current cars. And that's the problem with doing old cars and NASCAR is it's all about getting those liveries right, as Scalextric saw with the absolutely horrendous sales of their stock cars. And the sales were horrendous. Worse than bad. So, you can't fake the stuff, because the guys that want to see the stuff want to see exactly the right livery on the car. And, that project started before I started at the company, and I kind of inherited it for the 2 years that I was there. Frankly, I'm glad to not be associated with that project anymore, because it's a clunker. I told Scalextric when I saw them in New York, never make that mold again, which they weren't. I can Well, I shouldn't say I can tell you for sure, but I can tell you for sure they weren't going to be making those molds ever again, because they don't have the license, and you need the license with NASCAR. You just do. Where we didn't have to have the license was when we did the '57 Chevys for Carrera, because they're so old and they were just jalopies essentially. I mean, I know they weren't jalopies, but they were stock cars from, the days when it didn't matter what the liveries looked like as such. It didn't matter what the liveries looked like on the slot cars, because nobody really remembers those cars now. Yes, they remember, Smokey Unic and a couple of them. And if you wanted to, you could get them, correct. But if you just wanted to have fun making goofy stuff, which is what we did with Carrera, excuse me, they were just fun liveries that we put on cars. And frankly, we just made them up almost all the time. There was inside jokes on most of the cars. Was just, just fun stuff. So I feel like the chat stopped. Live chat. All messages are visible. All right. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, just no one commented. No problem. But I definitely think that that the new stuff that Carrera is going to be doing is going to be cool. They're going to be doing those couple cars, is what, 4 cars for next year. Just listening hard. I love you. They're going to be doing those cars, and then after that in 2025, they're going to be doing different things. Cool stuff is coming from them, and I'm happy that even though personally, I don't really follow NASCAR like I used to. I mean, I'm very happy, very, very happy that Carrera is doing NASCAR again. It's crucial for the U.S. market, and I mean, if you're a slot car guy, you want to see your market do well, and Carrera saturated the German and Austrian markets, so there's not really much room to grow there. How about motorcycles, monster trucks, and bigger scales? HO has them. So SCX tried, and Scalextric tried motorcycles. They're really, really terrible on a slot car track, because either you need a bike that kind of runs on a platform that has little outriggers, I guess I'd say, a kind of a base, and then the tire doesn't run in the slot, because obviously it can't, or it will kind of flip. The Scalextric bikes were beautiful little models and ran like crap. They basically wouldn't go around a corner. It's going to be the same chassis, Steve. There's no reason for them to change the chassis when they're just going to be reusing the same mold. You got to understand that. Who made the motorcycle slot car that slides out the back end on the curve? So, well, it's a real different thing in HO scale when you're talking about things that aren't 2 scale. That's the problem. 1/32 or larger scales, like SCX made very nice little models that they wouldn't slide out. They would kind of lean. And I have a pair of them, and they work reasonably well. They do, because the tire does run in the slot. They do kind of twitch. They don't really ever run vertical, like a real bike would, down a straight always. It'll kind of run, and then it'll lean one side to the other a little bit. I'll definitely making skis out of the pack. Yeah, I mean, it's as DeFinger said, it's absolutely a novelty. I'm sorry to say, I'm not down on the idea. I think really makes sense. Scalextric did make monster trucks. They were a little smaller for Not really a scale. I'm not really sure. Uh, yeah, Chris, exactly. They still kind of sucked. Um, I definitely, I really did like the SCX models, and they do run okay. Definitely better than the Scalextric models. The Scalextric bikes were just, I mean, they were abysmal, frankly. Um, they looked really nice, but the only one I ever tried to drive still had the magnets, and it couldn't even go around a curve. I don't know. Anyway, um, and then the Scalextric one or the SCX ones, um, I got the set that they came in, and I think there was two that came in blisters. Um, they call them open stock, meaning not in a set. And I think they were the same liveries though. That's when there were Scalextric Spain SCX were sponsoring Mark Marquez, and that's kind of when he started doing it. Swift slots, no, they shouldn't make performance cars. They tried based on a 3 millimeter standard. They were terrible. They didn't sell well. So that's not Scalextric's. That's not Scalextric's milieu. Their forte is not making performance cars. It's making basic toys for everybody. They started making uh, um, performance chassis. Hey, Brian, thanks for making a live stream. Any good slot car shows coming up? Slow Coast is somewhat close to Central PA. By Central PA, I assume you mean like Harrisburg or somewhere south central. There's something in Quakertown usually every couple months. That's the only one I know about. Nothing in Central PA where I live, which is actually Central PA. Yeah, so performance cars. They don't. It's not something that Carrera or Scalextric should do. I don't think. I mean, it's not their thing. Oh yeah, what I was going to say. Scalextric started making what's called Harrisburg. Yeah, nothing there, Brian. I'm just north of there, by the way, about 2 hours north, or an hour. Yeah, about 2 hours. They tried to make what they call them PCS, I think, chassis, and they sold okay. I have a couple of them from the Porsche 911 RSR, which is a really fast car to begin with. One of the better Scalextric cars made in, frankly, a long time. Just Port Royal, right on. All right, I know where Port Royal is. Yeah, I'm in Hughesville, which is near Williamsport. So you might have heard of Williamsport. You probably haven't heard of Hughesville. Anyway, so yeah, they started making those, and then it's not really their thing. They stopped making that chassis, the performance chassis, which fit slotted pods, just before or kind of when I was working for the company, and they didn't really sell all that well. And then there was a disastrous mistake where they were supposed to have made one of those chassis that fit the pod, or that fit a pod for the for the Javelin, and they made a chassis for the Javelin. We at Scalextric USA, we committed to, I think, 1,500 or maybe 3,000 pieces of the chassis, which, I mean, the chassis is just a chassis plate that would have had all the right bolt holes and all the right stuff to put, high quality like slotted or NSR or whatever, put a slotted pod in there in the Javelin. Why haven't any of you ever seen that? Well, it was a giant cluster F because, and I have one of these somewhere, maybe two. What they did was, rather than make a performance pod, they repopped the standard chassis with in the standard configuration in a blister pack, and it said that it was for a pod. It was just the standard chassis. You couldn't put a pod in it. So it was a gigantic mistake. And all of these went out to, or most of them went out to, some of them went out to one dealer immediately. Like, I don't know, like a lot went out to one dealer. And I had to get them back as soon as we found out that this was a huge cluster, because they just put a standard chassis into a blister, and so obviously it was not a real podded chassis. Yeah, oops, to say the least. To say the least, it was an oops. So they were all destroyed except maybe the one or two that I have somewhere. But it was really funny because it wasn't funny. It was a huge mistake, and it was sad because that basically left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Quite frankly, I shouldn't laugh about it, I guess, or no, I shouldn't laugh about it because. Well, anyway, it was really unfortunate. How the hell does that happen? China. They were on clearance at a local shop for like $2. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they were supposed to have all been destroyed, frankly. Someone at Scalextric wasn't paying attention when he gave the final approval on the picture of what the product was going to be. That's the only thing I can think. But it was, I don't know what each chassis might have cost. Not much. To put, well, there's a truck going by outside. I'm right kind of next to the highway. Anyway, sorry, I jumped. Yeah, I mean, it was not a whole lot of money. Thousands of dollars, not tens of thousands. Are the ones you have still in a blister? Yeah. I still have, like I said, I think I have one. I'll have to find it and I'll show it to you guys. There's a kind of oddball stuff that I have. I mean, I don't really have a lot of mistake stuff, but I have a couple pretty notable mistakes. Nice thing about Scalextric and Carrera is they're ready to run out of the box. Exactly. They're ready to run out of the box. And that's why, I liked working for the companies, even though I'm a hobbyist, is you don't have to buy a pod. Exactly. They were thinking of you. That's why, yeah. They had you in mind. They didn't. Why I like working for the home set companies, the companies that make the toys, is because, they're the ones that are the most easily accessible by the greatest number of people. And, families can play really, really... I like building kits too. Don't get me wrong, Brandon. But, and I like tuning and stuff like that. It's definitely, as a hobbyist, that's what I love to do. I mean, you guys have seen a little bit of that from me. I'm really... more about, I take everything apart, everything I get that I'm going to keep, that I'm going to play with myself. It all gets torn down and I would say blueprinted, and things get replaced and things get taken out, and I do all kinds of stuff to cars. I haven't done a lot of that on the channel, but I'm not just like this guy that just, I'm a hobbyist. I tear stuff apart. Yeah, just like it mix it up. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so yeah, it's NASCAR. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be good to see what Carrera come up with for the packaging. If there's anything extra that they have that they add to the sets, any kind of detail stuff, anything that they add that's just more than just a set. It would be nice for them to I had talked about doing some printing on track pieces to make some sets a little more special than others. So if you have a control unit and you get a NASCAR set, it's got like NASCAR printed on it, or Bristol or Daytona, or something like that, or Hendrick. Having the Hendrick logo on the control unit, or on pieces of track like straight sections, or curved sections, whatever. Just it's a way of making more available with just printing. So it's like it's cheap for the company to do, and there's a lot of possibility for them to make extra profit. Placing everything, getting damn, I keep trying to tap that message. Had a bad habit of replacing everything and getting a 3D chassis. Yeah, Brandon. I mean that's part of the hobby. It's good fun, and if you like doing it, then do it. It's expensive to spend between $40 and $65 for a Scalextric car. Where do you get a pit crew with the car? Well, I mean, you can get Carrera makes figures that are pit people, and Scalextric did. I think they do. Yeah, pistol. Yeah, that was. I used to take a lot of heat about that, about getting a brand new car and just immediately tearing the thing apart. It's I have a bad habit of, and I used to, like on Home Racing World and Soccer Illustrated, when I participated on Soccer Illustrated, years ago, I would show, hey, I got this new car, the 550 from Monogram, Revell, I forget which one. That one I was famous for tearing it apart basically as soon as I got it. Has any slot company created Indy cars in recent years? No, Brian, because Indy is essentially irrelevant to most U.S. racing. It is a very unwatched sport, and it's all kind of a standard body, which is terribly dull. It's also only a U.S. sport, so none of the companies thought it made sense when they already made, at the time anyway, Carrera made Formula One, and so did Scalextric, and now they don't, because open wheel cars, and I did a whole video on this, if you look back through my older videos, the car has changed so much that they can't really make money on the cars, open wheel cars, because Formula One car, there's only 2 liveries of a Formula One car each year, so there's no way that a slot car company, can make money on a car mold that they can only get 2 uses out of. It just doesn't work that way. So there's no way for them to make money, to make enough money, that it's possible, unfortunately, and certainly not for Indy. Most Indy fans, or I shouldn't say most Indy fans, most people that know about the Indy 500 don't know about any other race other than the Indy 500. I think I was asking what Carrera was saying. Keep doing that. I was thinking what Carrera was saying as you were doing that. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but that's okay. Yeah, so and that's why I get a lot of questions about people wanting 124 scale Formula One. It would be really cool to see that, just because of the size of the car and how much how the models would be really awesome. Hey, Mark, cheers! Thanks for showing up. Yeah, I did kind of an impromptu live stream, and I'm going a little longer just because I got nothing to do in the hotel room except just hang out and drink water and do nothing. So anyway, just blabbering on. 124 scale Formula One wouldn't ever make sense because those molds are really expensive. You have a couple of the IRL Indy Racing League cars. Yeah, those Scalextric Indy cars were really nice runners. And the A1 GP cars that they made years ago, they were really nice runners. We raced them at a club I raced with years ago. And they ran really nice. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, I wish they would do more Formula One too. I do like open wheel cars. I watch every Formula One race. I don't ever watch Indy races; they just don't interest me at all. I've seen a number of Formula E races; they're okay. You have a full set of A1 GP, right on. 351 Windsor, 351 GT. Yeah, they were really solid running cars, and really nice molds. They seemed like pretty interesting series to me. I never had one myself. I just borrowed. Yeah, this is the. I get these from most of my shirts from blipshift.com. I don't have any affiliate link, unfortunately. I wish I did. I've asked them because I wear their shirts all the time. Blipshift.com. I get nothing from it except the really nice shirts that I buy, and lots of compliments from you folks. So, hey guys, give the stream a thumbs up if you like it. It helps folks see my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm gonna drink of water here. So what else should we talk about? We talked about NASCAR. We talked about Christmas time. Your scaly open wheelers run really nicely. I mean, most electric cars do run really nicely. That's the great thing about those cars, is they run pretty well right out of the box. And the same thing with Carrera. Now, they're not gonna beat an NSR or a slotted or even a Pioneer car. Pioneer cars are much higher quality, even though they're essentially built reasonably similarly. Pioneer cars, they're much better quality, and certainly liveries and the finish on Pioneer stuff is absolutely. Let's talk about Pioneer. They had announced CUDA a while ago. It'd be really great to see them get their CUDA out, because I know it would be a really, really nice model just to look at. And I'm sure, just to look at like the liveries, I'm sure the paint would be fantastic. 61 in chat. That's pretty cool. Almost as many as Marty gets. Marty gets a lot of folks watching his channel. He's banging out there, man. I think, the Pioneer has really nice muscle cars. They're really, really nice. It'd be really good to see them, get another mold out. I know that they're a small company and they need to, make the most out of the molds they have, and I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I am gonna get the wood track cleaned off. 100%. I just got all the stuff to do the lighting. They had. Jules had a personal stuff happen a little while back, where Pioneer sold. There's a couple dealers in the U.S. and then through their own website, inaslot.com, 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 which I'm almost positive is Pioneer Direct. Maybe it isn't, but I got the impression it was anyway. They've done a bang up business with their Legend stuff. Obviously, sorry, my eyes are going crazy here, guys. They've been selling tons of their Legends cars, and there's so many. There's a guy, Robert Lee, who a guy here in the U.S. And I don't know how many he has, but he has dozens and dozens of them. Legends cars. Yeah, I have one Legends car. It's really neat. I like that they, I'm all about different stuff, right? I mean, you guys hear me complaining or talking or whining about that all the time. It's really great to have someone like Pioneer do something, really high quality, which they only do really high quality, but doing something so different. The Legends cars are, they're completely unique, and they have a lot of those that they've released, and that's fantastic. And all those kits that they've done, tune up and they fly. Yeah. They're. I mean, guys swear by those, and that's fantastic. I think it would be really great, and I really do hope that I want to encourage them to do Pioneer. I mean, I really want to encourage them to do, get a new mold out just to get what am I saying? It's hard. There's only a few people that work there, and I think it's, largely on Jules to get a lot of this done. And I do know, I assume still it's the same, that he's got to go to China for quite a long stay each time when he does a new car. And I can't imagine having to be in those, it's one thing to go to do the touristy stuff in China, but to do manufacturing stuff, those are not pleasant places to be. At least they weren't, from what I'd heard years ago. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, A-Team van. There was a company that was talking about doing the A-Team van. Maybe you'll see that this year. It was discussed a couple of years ago, so it would be cool. New, different. We like different. Yeah, so it would just be cool to see. Yeah, definitely Pioneer. I only have a couple other Mustangs, and I really, I agree. 351. It's just, yeah. I really do wish. Now, so Revell are doing many models here in the U.S. Some of the molds that they have, the older Revell molds for cars, the repops that they're doing, are here in the U.S. So it's not that it's not possible. It's just that it hasn't been done, and there's no infrastructure for it, really. The motors would still come from China. A lot of the machined stuff would still come from China. Yeah, Steve, I agree about the A-Team van. I look for that. That's something that I'm really hoping. I'm not saying it's a rumor, but I'm saying it's a hope that it actually gets done, because I know it's been discussed 100%. Yeah, and I may have some. Oh, no, I don't really want. Yeah, no, not talking about that yet. Yeah, there's a lot of folks that do like Formula Ones. I still really prefer. I would prefer to have people focus on vintage Formula One than modern Formula One, and I know that will probably ruffle some folks' jimmies, but that's what I do here is Jimmy ruffling. C-130 airplane, okay. Movie cars in 124 scale. Yeah, see, models in 125th scale I think would be appropriate. But slot cars, Slot cars in 124 scale are, it's a small market, guys. It's a very small market. Anyway. Star Wars Land Speeder. Yeah, that was a terrible mistake that they did. The TIE Fighter and the Land Speeder. Yes, Carrera cars can be, or Pioneer cars can be chipped for Carrera Digital um, by using a what's called a Carson chip. Professor Motor, I think, is the distributor. Vans and pickups would be cool. I totally agree, John. I totally agree. And we've seen, well, no, I mean, we've seen a couple trucks like that Carrera did, but nothing really boss. Nothing really awesome. Let's do this again with my chin. Oh, I can't really get close. Oh, actually, that's not bad. Yeah. So, yeah. Um, Vintage Formula One. I think when the cars were a little more distinct, Ford Raptor. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know. It's like how many. I don't know how many modern pickup trucks can you sell for a slot car. I don't really know. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I had suggested the modern Hellcat, um, Subaru Brett. Yeah, right. I mean, who knows? What do I know? Um, yeah, I had suggested some of the modern stuff, but the modern Mustang hasn't really sold very well for Scalextric, and they did a pretty reasonable mold on the car. It's really not that bad, but not really very many folks uh, bought it from what I've seen. They've done what three liveries on it or four liveries on it now, and I really don't see that many people talking about it. El Camino, I did suggest an El Camino. I did suggest a Gremlin, not a Pinto. The Munsters car would be in a really expensive mold, and you'd have to get the George Barris, the whoever holds the rights to his stuff to approve that. Um, but yeah, I mean, you certainly could do it. I was when I worked for Scalextric was when we had decided that we were going to do. Um, okay, so I'm just going to talk about the Scalextric Batmobile because the Batmobile is the most iconic movie car ever. It was the highest price for what just about the highest price ever for a car. Was it like over $4 million with the fees from whoever sold it? Was it Mecum, I guess, that sold it, or was it Christie's? I forget even who sold it. But the actual, like, the main one Batmobile that was, I know there was a number of them. There's a replica, a licensed replica of one in the town that I live in, or near the town that I live in. But like in the actual Barris, like the main Barris Batmobile, sold I think for 4.2 or 4.4 million, something like that, because it's an iconic car that sells all over the world, and the Ford Raptor is only sold in the U.S. and it's only sold very, very few. What is it, $100,000 truck? Who buys that? Nearly nobody, and only in the U.S. Sure, I'm sure, a handful are sold in Canada. Zero are sold in Europe. Everyone in the world knows what the Batmobile is. That's why. So it's pretty simple. Um, and they can keep selling the Batmobile for decades with that mold. They just, once the Batmobile is sold out, a new run of it sold out, they make more. The Corgi, Hornby is the company that owns Scalextric. They also own the brand Corgi, which is the Diecast company, had made a Batmobile since Corgi was a thing. So for decades, they were using just about the same mold. So a Tesla, I'll talk about that in a second. Corgi was using the Batmobile molds for decades and had always made money on it whenever they had made a Batmobile. So it only makes sense to make the Batmobile in 1/32 scale, because you can sell it forever, essentially. So Tesla. When I was working for Carrera, we around it was right when Tesla had been, yeah, the Robin thing. People get really weirded out about why wasn't there a Robin. It just saved a little money, I'm sure. And Citation X11, they were pretty badass cars from what I understand. So when Tesla were first announcing that they were going to do a car, I called Tesla and tried to reach them, tried to reach anybody that was doing licensing. The owner of Scalextric at the time, Dr. Stadelbauer, this is when Carrera was family owned, wanted to do a Tesla. He said, because, hey, Frankie Tomatoes, I am a big fan of tomatoes. He wanted to do a Tesla, he said, because it made sense, because Carrera do electric cars, and Carrera, electric slot cars, and Tesla was going to do, this is before Teslas were even made, they were going to do real electric cars, so it made sense, he thought, and to his credit, I agreed, for Carrera to jump on the bandwagon and early adopt making a Tesla. Setting aside certainly any political nonsense, which we do not talk about here whatsoever. Don't talk about it or you will be banned. It made sense for us to jump in and try to do a Tesla. I reached out directly to Tesla corporate headquarters a dozen times and never got a call back from anyone from product development, product licensing, from toy licensing. I tried every possible avenue to reach people at Tesla. Never got a call back. The next Detroit Auto Show, I went to the Detroit Auto Show. There is proof of me being at the Detroit Auto Show because I was photographed with, at that time, the brand new Ford GT that became the modern GT40 with the kind of open areas right behind the B pillar. Jenny, who's Mopar Jenny on some forums, Jenny Harrington, and I were photographed, and I think it was Car and Driver, talking just behind the brand new Ford GT that became the Ford GTE, the most recent Ford GT40, not GT40. So we're in the picture just behind the car. So I was at that Detroit Auto Show just to go try to talk to Tesla. And I did. They had a Tesla there. And there was it was a very small booth. Yeah, I know. It doesn't, I'm not commenting on I agree. It's not, I really wish Tesla would make a sporty looking car, not just a kind of sedan, which whatever. But regardless, so I went to Detroit to the auto show. I went to the Tesla booth, and it was a tiny booth, and there were maybe a dozen people or maybe 24 people at it. It was full of people. And I said, I want to talk to the most senior person here, basically. I was wearing a dress shirt and everything. I was wearing the whole corporate whatever. And yes, I have dress shirts and ties that I don't really wear very often. But I went to the Tesla booth and I said, I want to talk to the most senior person here, or anybody that's in licensing or marketing or product development, or I was casting a really wide net trying to talk to folks. And they said, well, this guy here is the most senior person. Just wait a minute and I'll get him. And I talked to this guy. He didn't have cards on him, which either he didn't want to give me a card or whatever. But I gave him my card. I gave him a couple cards. And I said, look, we want to, basically I said, we want to give you money. I'm here on behalf of the company, and the owner of the company wants to do a license. I will fly out to wherever in California to your headquarters as soon as you want me to get a deal done. We're 100% behind doing whatever we can, and we want to start doing a deal immediately with Tesla. No one ever called me back. I took a really dim view of Tesla. That I'm all in favor of EV and all that stuff, and I'm not gonna. I really detest the idea of people trashing EV just in general because they don't have a gas motor. I think it's stupid. And the fact that 90% of people could use an electric car because 90% of people don't drive more than about 50 miles a day to and from, or just to and from, or just to work. So when you really look at numbers, most people could get by with an electric car, period. Now there's a whole lot of nonsense, and I think it's pointless to make fun of them having fires and stuff like that. Gas cars never caught on fire. I mean, give me a fucking break. It's annoying. Yeah, no, I know Chalian. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I did give it my best shot. I gave it more than my best shot. I gave it months worth of best shot, and it's just, it really gave me Carrera solo challenge sets. Oh yeah, I've seen those sets where there's only a car in the set. I don't know if those will be released here in the U.S. It sure would be interesting if they would be. I think it's I mean, that's the way most people, I don't want to say race, but drive, is like a single person. No, they work in colder climates too. It's batteries are fine. I really, I don't know about. I've seen those sets that Carrera do, those single challenge sets. I think it's awesome that they're doing them. I'm pretty sure. Why would I want one when I can have a V8? Well, I've had V8s, and I frankly can't afford the gas. Like most people, it's stupid to drive yourself into the poorhouse and have a truck or a car that gets less than 15 miles to the gallon if you're driving a lot for work, which I do. I have a Fiat 500 that'll outcorner any truck. I have a Toyota Tacoma, which only does get about 20 miles to the gallon, and it has a V6, and it's a 4x4. So, I have my share of shitty mileage as well. And I love V8s. I mean, who doesn't want to have a lot of torque and a lot of fun? But, I mean, anyway, it's a pointless argument to make. It really is. Buy what you want. That's the end of it. Buy what you want. And don't give people shit about if they don't want to buy it. Don't buy it. Don't like it. Don't buy it. Shut up about it. Basically, it's like, I don't get why people go on and on and on about it. Anyway, yeah, I just think, anyway, life is great. Hey, Day Trip, cheers. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so, I don't know. What do we have? We've got a fairly decent. Waiting for Carrera. Oh, what's my favorite car? Um, my favorite slot car? I really don't know. I mean, I've been really enjoying the NSR McLaren. I think is 1,000 miles a week. Your 1-ton Chevy hauling the Amish. Oh, Steve, you're doing God's work. Literally God's work. The Amish. Oh, baby, I can't imagine. That's just an insane amount of mileage. Hopefully, it's diesel. Um, yeah, I think probably the McLaren from NSR, just because it really, really runs. I mean, it runs so well. Right out of the box. It's like very little tuning. Man, uh, and it's forgiving in ways a lot of other cars aren't. The 512 by Slotted is another really forgiving car. I think that's a really great car. The Mr. Bean car, no. I mean, I think it's a Mr. Bean car, the do-it-yourself, is a great model. It's absolutely fantastic, and that is one of my favorite episodes of Bean. I've obviously, I'm a mini fan, and I've seen that episode a million times, and I love it. But oh, it's gas. Oh, Jesus. 300. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, see, in my Fiat, it's like, again, my Fiat's just a sport. It's not an Abarth, but it's not like the Pop or the cheap base one. It's a sport. It's just naturally aspirated, but it's great suspension. It rips, and it gets more than 40 miles to the gallon. It's a zippy little car. It's not fast by any stretch. But oh yeah, Joe, yeah. Yeah, no worries, Joe. But it's a stick. My Fiat's a stick, and so you get a little bit of extra zoom, and it's got a sport button because it's a sport, which just really advances the spark. Hey, Stuart. Yeah, no, this is an impromptu live stream. I've been on for, holy crap, almost or more than an hour and a half now. Good lord. Because I got nothing else to do here in the hotel. There's a lot of people that want open wheel Formula One. I mean, you guys have mentioned it a million times here. It will be interesting to see. Yes, I love Polycar slot cars. They're fantastic. No, please, I'm here, Diechilian. I hope I'm saying that right. Diechalian, to answer questions. Yeah, Colin, you drive a Nissan Leaf. Those have really low range, though, right? They're not. They're really. Hey, John Kett. Um, yeah, because I thought about. Well, I wasn't thinking about getting a Leaf. Well, no, I wasn't. We went and looked at one. I wasn't actually thinking about getting one. Um, the Fiat's pretty small, but the Leaf is actually bigger. And they had a Leaf. They probably still have the damn thing near me at a dealer that kind of sells like, like a real car dealer that you probably all have those near your house that has like kind of crappy cars at a low price, really high mileage cars. And he had a Leaf, and it was in really low mileage, and it was really excellent condition. And it was way less than 10 grand. It might even been like $6,000 or something. And I was wondering, like, why? How can this thing be so? Hey, I'll answer that in a second, John. I wondered, like, how could this Leaf be so cheap? And I didn't know anything about the Leaf. I mean, it didn't look that terrible, but it was. I looked up the range, and the range, especially on an older one, was like maybe 100 miles. Which model of the NSR McLaren? Which one do I like? I mean, it just I just mainly drive the silver test one around a lot. I have the kind of one that's like the mango and whatever blue, I guess. John Kit, Fast Sports. My health has not been great recently. I've been having, yes, the plain ones exactly. Mainly driving the silver one around. Some of you guys know I have an autoimmune condition, which means that my body thinks that I'm sick all the time. So I get super fatigued really quick. It's my condition's called myasthenia gravis, and it's uh, it's a neuromuscular condition. So especially, well, not limited to, but especially like my upper body muscles are weaker, and I've been having pretty bad tremors recently, like shaking like that. I'm not having them now, but shaking like that, specifically my right hand, and some slurring of my speech, but really bad eye drooping, to the point where it's hard to see, uh, especially in the afternoons or the evenings, or the afternoon when I'm at work. Super bad fatigue, which is why I haven't streamed a lot on the weekends, because when I'm at work during the week and I don't get a chance to take a nap, um, I like I'm awake all day like a normal person, and then I'll be on the weekends. I'm so tired. Like last weekend when I wasn't able to do, when I said I can't do a live stream last weekend, I slept. I woke up Sunday morning, and I just put out. I can't. Sorry guys, I'm not going to do a live stream. I I went back to sleep at. I think I woke up at 8:30. I went back to sleep at 9:30. I slept until 3:30. I was so tired. Still, I went back to sleep at 4:30, and I slept until about 8:30 at night. Um, and I was up for 4 or 5 hours, and I went to bed at midnight. Um, and then it was Monday, and then I had to, well, whatever. So it's tremors and muscle weakness, and I have problems swallowing small things like pills. So it's just it's it's I hate complaining about fatigue, because some people like have actual illnesses, like cancer or whatever, and I get super tired, and then it's hard for me to lift things. I was putting the dishes away today, and it's just like I was struggling to lift 4 plates when I was putting the dishes away before I left today. So, but then driving here today, I got a couple extra cups of coffee, so hopefully I can sleep tonight. Be careful with your Jersey water. Exactly, yeah. I'm not drinking tonight, because sometimes drinking keeps me awake. The water is not great though. Um, anyway, so that's kind of the longer version of what's going on with my health. Um, I had surgery early this year, and I'm on a bunch of different drugs, including prednisone, and yeah, Moondoggy, yeah. Um, I've been on prednisone for 3 years now, and right before the pandemic, I had lost 30 pounds, uh, and then I got on the prednisone, and now um, I've gained back. Well, I've gained back all that weight, which is why I've always been a chunky guy, um, but I'm down about 7 pounds in about the last like 3 weeks. So I mean, it's not a lot, but it's something. But it just sucks because I don't feel like I can exercise because I'm so tired. So, because I get up and I immediately if I can, I get up, I have breakfast, and then about 2 hours after I have breakfast, I have to go to sleep again. It's stupid. And I'm not complaining about it. It feels stupid to say those words, but it's what I'm going through. So fatigue, like you can't control. Anyway, the good thing is the YouTube channel is thanks guys, I do appreciate it. I really do, and it means quite a bit that I no, there's a lot of treatment I'm doing. I'm on a bunch of different drugs. I have a whole stack of pills that I brought with me. I did essentially, it's not exactly chemo, but I did an infusion treatment a couple, 4 months ago now. And I was just at my neurologist Friday, and, last Monday. And I'm going to be on a new drug soon that's an injection. And that one, I have to get meningitis vaccines. There's a whole lot of side effects. So, and I had surgery to remove the gland from my chest in January. So that put me down for a while, and I still have chest pain from that. And it's been a shitty year for that. But anyway, it's been a good year for slot cars and a really good year for the channel. Fortunately, being able to do videos a lot's kind of taken my mind off of things, and I'm really trying to do more videos now to kind of ramp up through the end of the year. No, guys, it's not really. I really do appreciate it, though, Asher. It's not really. It's not something that's degenerative. So, like, I could still get worse, but it's not. It's not something I could like lose my life from directly, because I have essentially no immune system, or a very low immune system now. I get like every vaccine. Thank you, Stuart. I appreciate it. I just got my COVID vaccine for the first time in a little more than a year, actually, because I had to wait after surgery, and then I had to wait after my infusion treatment. So I just got my COVID vaccine the other day. My arm still hurts. And because if I get sick, I've had COVID 3 times, and thank you, Patricia, I appreciate it. And Colin, I appreciate it. If I get sick, I will get more sick than the average person. So if I get like the flu, that could kill me. Not to be too dramatic, but I will get sicker than most people will, because I don't have any, or I have very low immune system. So anyway, it's been a cool thing to really be able to really work on the channel, and to try to do more different kinds of content, even though, it's my news that people really come to the channel for, and that's fine. I expect that's why people, thank you, John. I really appreciate it. Thanks. I really appreciate it, guys. That means a lot. It really does. I don't just say that. I mean, a lot of, the other guys that do YouTube videos, do channel, Marty and Travis and all the other guys. I mean, I know, we all really do appreciate, we appreciate everyone that watches, everybody that puts themselves out there like this for, I mean, I'm not that photogenic a guy, and I get a lot of comments about my weight and, whatever. So it's just, it makes you, and there's a lot of discussion about, I don't really want to be on camera on a YouTube channel, but I kind of wouldn't mind starting one. Well, F it. It's like, who cares what people think? I mean, I'm me. Not some people don't like what I have to say. A fair number of people make fun of me for how I look. Those comments get deleted, and but I enjoy doing the channel, and it's given me certainly during the pandemic, right after I lost my job, it was a lot of therapy, because my first videos, I was really not. Um, I agree, John. John says it's composed of a few really solid folks. Absolutely. I mean, Harry Wise is, the backbone of a lot of this, and a lot of the people that do, as they call it, as we call it now, content creation. Videos on YouTube and live streams and stuff like this. Um, you really you want you want your stuff to really, you want your work to really, you know add some value, and add something that maybe someone hasn't done, or kind of flesh out something that other people have done. You're just doing your own thing, and you want to have fun talking about whatever you want to talk about. And that's why I like talking about news, and do I haven't really done too much. I have hundreds of videos now. Um, and I really think that trolls, yeah, I mean, everyone's going to get some trolls, and the more viewers you get, the more subs you get, the more trolls you're going to get, and that's part of it. Like, I've talked to, I mean, a couple other kind of like content creators for photography, and they said usually, and it's a weird number, but below like 10,000 subs, and I'm only only at like 8,200. You don't really get as many trolls. Once you get above 10,000, for some reason, you get a lot. So it seems like it goes up by a factor of whatever. But it's going to be a long time before if I ever do get to 10,000. But anyway, yeah, it's just. And no, Marty, I mean, it's just. Why? I was trying to get back to your. Oh, I just. See, I mean, Marty, you don't need to be fast or yeah, yeah. And John, you suggested just do it, just to do it out there just to put it out there for, like a fun thing to do, or therapy, like I said, honestly. But Marty, I mean, you have such a great voice, Marty. I really mean that. Like, I really dislike the sound of my own voice, which I think pretty much everybody does. But I think, thank you very much, Slockar Daddy. I'm part of the media, so don't. I'm a photographer for a newspaper, so don't get too down on the media, because that's me. Anyway, yeah, but Marty's I like your content, Marty. I like the videos you do, and the streams that you do, and the approach you have as like a new person, because that's approachable. That's like people can identify with that, and I think that's what that's got a lot of value, and that's because I aim, specifically at more newer English. It's hard. More new people in the hobby, because I think kind of helping. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. It's Soccer Daddy. I'm just a little more pedantic than I should be, probably. Um, that's on me. That's a failing of mine. um, but I think it's um, definitely a value in helping new people, more so than, kind of aiming like content at the smaller end of, like the bottom end of the funnel, where it's kind of like all the hardcore hobbyists. Those folks, yeah, they know how to do a lot already. And, I mean, I can build a car pretty well, I think. Um, uh, but I think I think it makes sense to kind of aim videos at the broadest possible audience. I think it makes a lot of sense, because there's more of those folks out there, um, and that's why I've really specialized mainly in news, because I am a news guy in real life. Um, so I think it just makes sense. I appreciate it, Marty. I mean, I'm ambassador for the hobby. I mean, I guess it's. I wish I could be in front of more people as an ambassador to the hobby, people outside of the hobby, because you guys might know me, but you know, more people are out there that need to know about slot cars, and those are the people we need to get, right? And that's kind of why I'm here in New Jersey tonight on my own dime, and tomorrow. oh, I can tell you. So this has nothing to do with why I'm here. On my way home tomorrow, though, I will be stopping at LEB. I will be. Look at that vein right there. I mean, you'd think I had muscles. Look at that. Sorry. I will be stopping. Random bullshit. I will be stopping at LEB. They got my track, my Scale Auto track, from Scale Auto. For some reason, Scale Auto, who is Crick Crack in Spain, the Basas family. And my eyes are doing it again. Jesus. They shipped all of my track and the cars I asked for. I think I asked for. They said here's a list of essentially everything we make. They make DS, they make Scale Auto, they make car models too. That's good to hear, Brian. I mean, that's why, you know, Marty and Travis and everybody does this, is to help people out. It's, you know, yes, it's. I mean, if you do make money from this, obviously, that's cool. You know, who doesn't like to get a little bit back for spending, you know, hours and hours and hours of time? You know, you get a little bit back. It's gratifying if it's only a couple bucks. But regardless, Scale Auto track. All of my Scale Auto track is at LEB, and I'm told it's a heavy bunch of boxes. I don't know how much they sent me. You have made tens of dollars. Yes, I know the feeling, John. I made a little more than that, but not much. So my Scale Auto track that has arrived. I don't know if the cars have arrived that I asked for. It's okay if they didn't. I'm just saying. But if they did, I'll pick those up. I think I asked for a spiker because I've never seen the spiker model from Scale Auto, and I want to see how that runs. And a couple of the new, I asked for a new Corvette or two because I really like the Corvette's a really nice model that they've done. And anyway, there was a bunch of cars that I asked for. I figured, you know, you ask for more and they send less, it's still a win. And the guy from Scale Auto, Yvonne, said that he wanted to send me track to do a review of or a test on. And I said, well, and this was a couple months ago, before I had the studio at work. You guys have maybe seen the studio that I have at work now. I know, Stuart. The community is very supportive. I agree. So a couple months ago, I didn't have, I just had my table where my Apollo car track is, and I really don't want to take that down because I do really like the Apollo car track. I mean, it's honest. I really do love it. And so I turned them down. I turned Scale Auto down because they wanted to send me something to put it up. And I said, well, I don't really have a place to do it. But I do now because I have the space at work. I have a big room at work at the job at my newspaper. I just made a studio there. I made a studio. I fitted out a room to be a video studio. We have great lights in there now, or good enough lights. And that's all you really need is lighting. And obviously I have the cameras and stuff. So, I'm going to take all the track to work. And on a Sunday, probably, I need to buy a couple folding tables, like those kind of 3 foot wide or 2.5 feet wide, whatever they are. by like 4 foot long or 6 foot long kind of event tables that you can get, those kind of white folding tables, plastic, that you can get at like Walmart or something like that. I need to get a couple more of those so I can put a big platform table down and cover it. I have a big black cloth I'm going to cover it with, so it'll be a little cleaner when I videotape it, not on a white table or white tables. So I can put up a big track, whatever. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it too. I've never seen it, Marty. I've never seen the Scale Auto track in person. By all accounts, it sounds like 72 by 30. Yeah, not quite, but yeah, 30 inches exactly. But probably 6 foot, and they fold. Because I have one that I got years ago when I worked. I think when I worked at. No, that was when I worked at Hornby, because I did a show. I did a like a reenactment weekend with in Berwick, Pennsylvania, which is really near where I live. There was a military weekend. I forget when it is. It's might have been the 4th of July actually, and they have real tanks there. The Stewart tank was actually made in Berwick. The M3 Stewart was made, or the M5. No, the M3, and the Duster from the Korean War, or post World War II, was also made in Berwick. And we at Airfix we made the Stewart, the Honey Stewart. So I took the model that I built of the Stewart tank and put it with the real Stewart that they had there. And I had I had a little tent, and anyway. So I'm going to get a couple more of the tables and fit them out and do some stuff at work. I'll probably just end up leaving the tables there. And I am going to ask, because I have a couple sets from Scalextric. I'm going to ask for... I got one of their... I think I got a micro set. Yeah, I got the micro... bond set. I'm going to put that up. And I'm going to do a little review on that. And I'm going to put up the 1/32 scale, the bond set, excuse me. And I'm going to ask Scalextric for, they have a new kind of, got some table skirt for Brian. Yeah, Mike. Yeah. That's a long time ago. Hey, Swift Thoughts, I really appreciate you showing up. Cheers, man. It means a lot. I know this has been a stupid long stream. 2 hours. Holy crap, guys. But like I said, I got nothing else to do, so I'm just babbling, and I don't feel too bad. Yeah, John, I saw the fingers. I saw your channel or your posts. Moondoggy, I really appreciate it. Yeah, that means quite a bit. So I'm gonna put up a Scalextric micro set. I'm gonna ask Carrera for a couple, like a Go set and a digital 132 set, and I'll probably ask them for all. Well, probably we'll see. I think if they have them, they'll probably give them to me. The accessories, if they still have those in stock, and I'll start doing videos for Carrera digital stuff, since I mean that far and away that's most questions I get about any single kind of operating system, I guess you'd say, except for maybe like, analog, which is just analog. But, I don't get a lot of questions about Scalextric, even analog track. I get very few questions about Scalextric digital. I get a lot of questions about Carrera digital, a lot. So, yeah. Man, it is still dumping rain out there. Holy crap. We're supposed to get like 4 inches of rain tonight at my house in Pennsylvania by like tomorrow in the afternoon. It's like a crazy amount of rain, obviously. Yeah, so I'm going to do probably, I had hoped to do more set stuff before the hey, Steve, cheers. I really appreciate it. Thanks. I really had hoped to do more set kind of reviews before Christmas, but I just felt so tired. Don't have to shovel it, exactly, John. You don't have to shovel the rain, exactly. Although we might get some snow, because my wife was concerned about me being away and her having to start the snow thrower and whatever. So anyway, yeah, I had hoped to do a bunch of those set reviews before now, but I've been so tired on the weekends. I felt so bad that I just haven't had the whatever to be able to get into work and just work, because I'd have to be there all day to to set up a track and then to do the review. And it just, I know it sounds like whining, but it's a lot of work doing a video, especially when you do a set review, unless it's just an unboxing, which I've done a few of. You have to be fairly comprehensive, and it's tough. Doing a review is tough, especially of a track, because there's a lot of things to consider. That's kind of why I've broken down some of my, like I have one video is actually nearly at 100,000 views now, which is still shocking to me. I may have made tens of dollars on that one too. That video, kind of like what to consider if you're thinking about buying a track, that's like my highest watched video. And I didn't see your post from Slack Our Corner, hoping. Oh, yeah, no, I think I saw the post. I've been so busy with work the last 4 days. There's been a crazy amount of stuff going on at work with the assignments I've had to cover, and we had just a lot of office politics relating to the assignments to cover that have taken my time, in addition to feeling like crap. And I've had doctor's appointments on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week, different things. So yeah. So anyway, not whining, I'm just letting you guys know. But yeah, so I really had hoped to get those reviews done about the track stuff before Christmas, because that's honestly when most people buy a set, is before Christmas. But I am still going to do these things because I know that they'll have value even after Christmas, especially I probably will do. Cheers, Steve. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. The way I kind of do I'm thinking about doing kind of reviews about the sets kind of as a suggestion for, like, okay, so if you want to buy, I'm going to reach out to Auto World too. Probably I don't have any, I do have a contact with them, and I just can't buy a lot of stuff. I don't make that much from my real job. So I was thinking about buying the Auto World, that new Datsun set, because that looks fun, and it looks like it's got a bunch of track with it. And I figured I'd do it looks like that probably they just released the set, so probably that set will be available for a few years. And then I'll do like kind of not the best of each kind of brand, but like, like, okay, you want to get a Carrera digital set? Well, here's the one that's available now, and this one offers these things, and this is what I would suggest if you're going to buy a Carrera digital set, is consider this set. And a Scalextric set, I already have a couple Scalextric sets that I haven't been able to do much with yet. And I would highlight those sets because all the sets have value. That's the great thing about, we always talk about the golden age, the newest golden age is now, and it really is. We have a lot of really nice options from basically every company. We're blessed to have a whole lot. You can't buy stuff, yeah. What am I hoping for my Christmas stocking? Camera for doing better video, doing more specific things with video, I won't get it, but that's that's what I would like. I get an awful lot of slot cars, so it's kind of hard to, um, you know, I'm not gonna let you know I get more than frankly I deserve of slot car samples, or I know I get a lot of free stuff, and I mean I appreciate, trust me, the companies having faith that they can send me the stuff, and I'll be fair with them in reviewing it, because like I said, to get back to the golden age, you know we have so much good options now. It's not like years and years ago, kind of in between the 60s and early 70s and now, when we just have so much incredibly high quality. You did a video on, yeah, exactly. I saw you did the video about what you want for Slotsmas. Um, yeah. Maybe I want for Slotsmas. I want a scale auto track. I think I got one. I will post a photo or maybe a quick video after I load up my track when I'm at LEB tomorrow, about how much it fits in my Fiat. It will all fit, I'm sure. It's not that much stuff, I don't think. um, but there's no bad options with sets. Every company makes a set that's worth buying. They really do. Even some of the, I hate to say, kind of the knockoff stuff, the cheap Chinese stuff, but even that stuff is pretty good quality, because quite honestly, the track that's old, like Arton track or new Arton track. Arton's still made. It's made by Dragon Eye, and it's just made for certain people like Walmart or whoever. So there's really, cheers, Colin. I really appreciate you sticking around. Means a lot. Awesome. Revo Datsun. Oh boy, don't get me started on that. Oh man. Well, it's not a Revo Datsun. It's a BRM Datsun. Anyway, yeah, camera. There's a camera that I would like. Uh, I have a couple nice lenses that I've been using. Yeah, there's a lot to digital. I wish there were more added. I've suggested a bunch of stuff. There's a lot that could be done with digital and still isn't being done. I've suggested a number of things when I worked for Carrera. I suggested a number of things. They didn't listen to me. When I worked for Scalextric, I've suggested a number of things. I mean, Marty's. You really can't go wrong with Revo Slot. I fully agree, Marty. I mean, pretty much. I mean, I shouldn't say everybody knows that. A lot of people know that. It's such high quality stuff. You get a lot for your money. You get a just beautiful metal chassis that's like heirloom quality. I don't think we really think about. That's like one of the things that's come out. I mean, I know there have been metal chassis forever in slot cars, but what kind of camera? A camera that Santa will never buy for me, an A7S3 used. They're $2,500. The cheapest one is about $2,500. They're mainly 2,700. Revo Slots can't stand it. Yeah, right, John. Bullcrap. B&H, yes, Moondoggy, exactly, B&H. A7S3, A7S III from Sony. I don't know what they are new, $3,300, $3,300, something like that. It's just Santa, my wife, would never buy me that. So no. Yeah. Good thing you're not Santa. Well, yeah, exactly. Nobody has that. Very few people have that kind of money to spend on a camera, man. I have bought used cameras. I have 2 used Sonys that are great. But I'm always looking to improve You liar. Yeah, totally. Marty, we all know John's got, I'd say it's a fetish. It's gone beyond what Santa has unlimited funds. Yeah, I wish Santa did. Um, get those elves, damn it, whip them into shape. Make me a new camera. um, John's, I think it's gone a thing to a out and out fetish that John Albright has for a Revo slot. I'd say probably now you could count which ones doesn't he have. Yeah, everybody loves their Sony. It's like just effortless. They just do. You don't have to think about it. Well, you do have to think about it. Just the quality of the freaking picture, video quality or photo quality is fantastic. And the S3, the one that I want, is the one that's basically it's an interchangeable lens camera and it's made for video. It'll take photos too, but it's made just for. It's not made just. It's made mainly for video. Anyway, yeah, the Revo slots. John, which ones don't you have? For sure, you have to have one of every mold, right? I don't know that I've ever seen you. Have we ever seen you talk about do they make the Marcos or the? I've seen you show pictures of a Viper, probably, right? Of course, now the rage is the GT1s. There's a bunch of new GT1s coming from Revo that look fabulous. The black and gold one looks good. The test one is, I like my test cars. So that's definitely two Marcos. Yeah, of course. You've got to have all of them, don't you, John? All of the molds, at least. I wouldn't be surprised if you have all of the bodies, all the liveries of them too. They're just absolutely just stunning cars. They've really, the quality of those cars, not just the body, but it is a basic chassis, but it's a basic, great, solid design for a chassis. And it's like heirloom quality. Like I said, I mean, it really is. Just has a higher. Obviously, it's more indestructible than any plastic chassis would ever be, and it just lasts forever. The chassis are quite thick. They're durable as hell. Two or more of all. Hey, it's a fetish. It really is. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun stuff. Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see what Revo does next year. I guess they're talking about doing a 510. Oh, Simon, yeah, I see. So we had talked about, Simon asked, if you can't see the chat, he had asked about it'd be cool to see Carrera do like a true ghost car that kind of like you would drive a couple laps and it would kind of mirror the best lap, but it can't, it doesn't really know where it is on the track. And I think I had talked to somebody when I worked at Carrera about that, and it would need to have some kind of accelerometer in it to know when it's turning and when to slow and when it might come off or something like that. It would need to have extra tech in it that I think would raise the price too much. And again, it's not something they really do, so it's not something they really want to do. I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that's kind of the answer. Oh no, your hearing aid battery died. Oh crap, that sucks. Revo slut, exactly. People with too many Revo slut cars are a Revo slut. Oh boy. Yeah, so it would be cool, Simon, if they did a car that would that you could really race against. Anti-collision would be nice, I agree. Again, it kind of adds in more tech, it adds in more cost. And, what would people be willing to pay for that? In Germany and Austria, people already pay I mean, I don't know where you're from, Simon, but in Germany and Austria, you're going to pay 70, almost 80 euro for a slot car. In the U.S., for a Carrera digital car, you're only going to pay maybe $50. Texas, okay. Yeah, so here, we pay very low prices. Um, what are some of the things you'd suggest for a digital that fell on? Um, oh, uh, yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't really usually talk about things that I've suggested just because it pisses me off that people do take my ideas from time to time. But sound is definitely one. Sound does get annoying. However, a sound library I think would be good. That would be a downloadable thing. That would be also a micro purchase that they could monetize a little more. So a track would come with a basic, let's call it a noisemaker box of some sort, that would have certain menu of sounds built into it. And those sounds would be ambient sounds of cars, maybe people at the track, maybe an announcer, kind of ambient announcer, just saying nonsense. But track stuff. But also, you could, let's say, if you just wanted, I don't know, if you wanted a specific Formula One library. Now, I don't know if those sounds would necessarily, if things would necessarily be different. But again, this, like, I've tried to discuss this with the folks at the companies, and I couldn't even get a discussion going about let's flesh out an idea about us about one thing first, like a sound box, and how there could be menus of sounds, and you could go onto a tablet or some kind of interface and upload more sounds, and you'd pay for those sounds, or maybe you could upload your own sounds. So sound, and as a general kind of topic, also a webcam that was, and this is something I really hesitate to talk about because I still want to do this, and I know it would make money. And I just say, if someone takes this idea and runs with it, just please at least acknowledge that they stole it from me. A blimp that hangs over your track, that has a webcam built into it, that either wired or wirelessly transmits a signal that is sent to a laptop that you can broadcast from, that does not only a webcam's work, but is a piece of scenery as well, that hangs over your track. So it looks like a cool blimp. It would be licensed or not, and it would be a webcam, and it would have a wide angle, and it would shoot down or at an angle or whatever you want on your track. Again, I'm not revolutionizing anything here, but it's not available. It could be. It helps people get connected. Webcams help people get connected. This is proof from the, we proved this during the pandemic. And now a lot of folks, Raul does this, broadcasts now with a webcam, track days, and Marty does this, and I do it from time to time too with a webcam. But, imagine being able to switch to an overhead webcam of your track, a complete down angle. Again, how about a press stand that the webcam is built into the little press camera? A wired thing that plugs in, or probably not wireless. Well, it could be wireless. It'd be higher quality, higher res if it was wired, that would plug into a laptop. I mean, it's, yeah, no, I know there's been, there's been a lot of suggestions for sound stuff, and SCX did test it years ago. It got monotonous. Evidently, we had tested it around the time I worked there, and what they found was that the sound got too monotonous, and people tended to turn it off. So that's why SCX didn't do it, because they thought, well, if people are going to turn it off, why do it at all? Do the sound, why do it at all? Which is kind of a fair thing. But yeah, so sound, video cameras that would broadcast to the web, therefore connecting people. I thought those were. I always wanted to see higher quality controllers, like a more, not a pro version of a controller, but a better quality version of a controller from the manufacturers. I suggested, it's got me talking now, I suggested to Policar, to Maurizio, John, exactly, it's essential. Also, thumpers and controllers, that tactile, that feedback, that would be part of a better quality controller, is not only to have sound on a track, but to have that kind of a feel in the controller, that feedback. That's one reason why kids like video games. Jesus, how hard is this, guys? Because there's positive feedback in controllers. There's thumpers in controllers, and you get that feedback in a controller. It's a stimulating thing. Come on, this is what I've been talking about. Like I mentioned in the video, don't blame kids that because they like video games, because it's a much more immersive thing. I mentioned to Slot It about doing Maurizio, who makes Policar track. Nobody makes a basic track piece where you can plug in 3-post or 3 banana plug controllers and 2-post power supply. Yes, the Firestone blimp, exactly. That's what I suggested. Power supply and controllers into a track piece, so you don't have to wire a freaking piece of track. I use the Slot Car Corner. Steve at Slot Car Corner made me their wiring loom, their wiring kit. It's very easy to use, but why doesn't any manufacturer, for God's sake, make a starter section piece of track as an accessory where you can hook up 3-wire, which is common in Europe as it is here, 3-wire normal controllers and 2-post positive and negative power supply. Why does no one make this? Why? Nobody can instant feedback exactly to fingers with the thumper. Exactly. Why does no one make a starter track piece where you can hook up real controllers? Magnasonic, exactly. Did it in the 60s. Yeah, all these people did these things in the 60s. And the problem is there's been so much turnover at slot companies. There's no what's called institutional memory, right? There's no one that works except one person maybe at Carrera, and he hasn't worked there since the 60s. Gunther, the design director, I'm friends with him. Why does no one make a direct replacement track connection piece where you can hook up a real controllers, and a real power supply? Why? You think they sell a lot of Radius 4 and Radius 5 tracks? Not really. I think they would sell fairly well on a track connection piece. And I all but begged Maurizio to make that. I'm going to do the same thing with Scale Auto. I don't think they make a track connection piece that will hook up to oh God, my eyes again drooping. I don't think they'll make a track connect. I don't think they make a track connection piece. Also, what probably is like a rally loop end. It joins one 2-lane piece of track, because there's 1 lane in each side of piece of track, duh, and then a loop to join it to make a 1-lane track with a loop at one end and then a loop at the other end. Now, Scalextric did this, and SCX did this, and SCX did this most recently with the Rally Start box, Rally Connection box. I forget exactly what it's called, but I did a review of it in Slot Car News when I first started the channel. And it's just the best thing because you can make a 1-lane track, and it's got lap timing, and it's got a little starting part. And geez, you make a 1-lane track out of a 2-lane piece of track, and you can have a really huge test track then. That's kind of like the Carrera tracks that they're making now, the Solo, whatever they're calling it, in Europe. Someone needs to make that again. That was another thing I suggested. So, yeah. Analog pit stop. I mean, yeah, Larry, that was a cool idea. We released that while I was working for SCX, and it sold pretty well. SCX, to their credit, made a lot of really good track pieces. They really did. They made more better track pieces than anybody else more recently, for sure. Carrera's track it's okay. I got them to make the what they call the chicane, which is really just a track squeeze piece. That was my project. I really am very happy that I was able to add that track piece to the Carrera system when I worked for them, because that was, for someone to add a piece of track it's a big deal. You really aren't sure how many. I mean, a track piece mold doesn't really cost a lot to make, but it's still a big investment. And then, unless you're going to sell thousands of the things, you never really know, how well a track piece is going to be received. While I worked for Scalextric, I suggested they remake all of the old track pieces that they had made. The hump bridge, the little bridge that's the hump, and the Le Mans Start, and the Goodwood Chicane. And yeah, I mean, I suggested this stuff, and a lot of folks there really liked that idea. I wish they would do it. Yeah, Steve. I mean, 3D printing really, I think, is the way that we're going to get a lot of really interesting stuff for the hobby that's very, very, very niche, very, very small. You don't really need to make a lot of them. You can just upload the design, and, people buy it a la carte. I just got a Shapeways chassis the other day. I'm going to be doing a rebuild on the Scalextric notchback soon for the channel. That's why I bought one of the chassis. And 3D printing is really the key to the growth of the hobby. I really do think, and I think there's so much that we'll be able to get from 3D printing, because it allows people to really have a passion project. If you really want to do a really great chassis or body or track piece, well, maybe not a track piece because that requires a piece of metal, but who knows? I mean, maybe in the future they'll be able to, at Shapeways, they'll be able to 3D print Carrera doesn't do a lot of Go pieces. I mean, they do a lot of kind of oddball pieces, yeah, that they do more kind of neat little pieces. And I've always thought that that's one of the absolute strengths of the Carrera system in general, was that the Carrera Go system, you really get a really great, fun range of track pieces for the system. There's just so much. Yeah, no problem. Something. I typed the wrong thing again. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I love talking about slot cars, obviously, and it's really fun to kind of dig in when you work for a company. Um, make a livery template for each car so we can print our own decals. Yeah, but companies are not, I mean, they're not in the business of worrying about aftermarket decals. And aftermarket decals mostly are not licensed. Therefore, they're illegal, so they don't want to support um, illegal products being made. I don't know how to describe it, but that's basically it. Um, yeah, so like talking about like new products and uh, uh, things to suggest. It was kind of if I've had a disappointment, it's been that I never really got to be as involved as I would like with more kind of in-depth discussions with some folks. So, yeah, about what could be done, like blue sky ideas. So I'm gonna get going, guys. This is just about the longest stream I've ever done. I think 2.5 hours. That's a long time to sit here, and I have essentially no topic when I started. Give the stream a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It's been really fun. You need this shirt. I mean, blipshift.com. I don't know if you can still get them or not. Um, it's been a lot of fun talking to you guys tonight, and definitely kind of lifts my spirits with, kind of the way things have been recently. So, yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. It really, really, really means a lot, and I'm not just saying that. Please give the stream a thumbs up. Cheers. Love you guys. See y'all again soon.